The thick scent of iron and damp earth clung to the air. The forest was eerily silent, save for the distant howls of unseen creatures. The altar, sleek with crimson, gleamed under the pale moonlight. Kwame stood frozen, his breath shallow, his hands trembling as he stared at the dagger in his grip, its blade dripping with the warm, viscous remains of his latest sacrifice. His chest rose and fell in erratic motions, his mind battling the demons clawing at his sanity. A rustling sound snapped him from his daze. His bloodshot eyes darted toward the trees where shadows twisted unnaturally. He wasn't alone. A slow, rhythmic clapping echoed from the darkness. From the shadows emerged the tall stranger in the red robe. His expression unreadable, his eyes deep, endless pits of blackness. "Well done, Kwame," the man's voice slithered like a serpent through the night. "You have proven your loyalty once again. But the Brotherhood's hunger is insatiable." Kwame's stomach twisted. He took a step back, but his feet felt anchored to the blood-soaked ground. "You said this was the last one," he whispered, his voice hoarse. "You promised." The stranger chuckled. A low, guttural sound that sent a shiver through Kwame's spine. "And you believed me." He took a slow step forward. "You were given wealth, power, and prestige. Did you really think the price would be paid just once?" Kwame's heart pounded against his ribs. His vision blurred. The weight of his sins pressed against his chest like a boulder. He looked down at his hands, stained, shaking, cursed. He felt the walls of his mind closing in. The sound of approaching footsteps made Kwame's skin crawl. From the shadows, figures emerged, cloaked in red, their faces hidden beneath deep hoods. The Brotherhood. Their presence was suffocating, their energy overwhelming. "An offering must be made," the stranger intoned, his voice laced with finality. But this time, Kwame, he paused, a cruel smirk playing at his lips. "The Brotherhood has chosen differently." A wave of nausea crashed over Kwame as he noticed something behind the figures, a familiar silhouette, small and trembling. "Coffee." Kwame gasped, his throat tightening. The young boy, dressed in tattered clothes, his eyes wide with fear, was shoved forward. His tiny hands were bound. His lips quivered, but he made no sound, just like Kwame had taught him. Silence was safety. But tonight, nothing could save him. "No." Kwame shook his head violently. "Not him. I did everything you asked. I gave you everything." His voice cracked, raw with desperation. The stranger simply raised a hand. The Brotherhood stepped forward, closing in. Kwame's mind raced, his breath coming in sharp gusts. He looked down at the dagger in his grip, his final weapon, his last chance. He could fight. He could run. But deep down, he knew. There was no escaping the Brotherhood. Kofi's eyes locked onto his, pleading. Trusting. Tears blurred Kwame's vision. He tied the dagger on himself, pressing the cold steel against his own chest. "If a life must be taken," he rasped, his voice barely above a whisper, "then let it be mine." The Brotherhood froze. The stranger tilted his head, intrigued. "Interesting," he mused. "You would trade your soul for his." Kwame nodded, his grip tightening on the hilt. "He is innocent. He doesn't deserve this." A slow smile crept across the stranger's lips. He extended a long-fingered hand. "Then give me what is mine." Pain. Unimaginable, searing pain shot through Kwame's body as the stranger's hand plunged into his chest, not with flesh, but with shadows, twisting, burrowing, devouring. Kwame's scream was swallowed by the darkness. When the first light of dawn touched the forest, there was no trace of the Brotherhood. No altar. No blood. No sign of the ritual that had taken place. Kofi sat curled at the base of a tree, clutching his knees to his chest. His lips trembled. His eyes, hollow, haunted. Of Kwame, there was no sign. Only the whispering wind, carrying the final echoes of his sacrifice. Greed is a bottomless pit. A debt that can never be repaid. Kwame thought he could outwit the Brotherhood. That wealth and power could be gained without consequence. But darkness does not grant favors. It only lends them. And the price? Always more than you can afford. In the end, Kwame learned the hard truth. There is no escaping the choices we make. Some debts can only be paid in blood. Thanks for watching. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Remain blessed.